This is the Vivo V15 Pro, and it has a party trick, and it's the best party trick in the world. So we'll open up the camera. You can see that this is a bezel-less smartphone. Where's the selfie camera? There it is. And we'll never get tired of watching just how smooth and just how fast that is. This is the Vivo V15 Pro, and we're going to have a closer look. This is the V15 Pro from a distance, so you can see here just how much screen we're talking about. The bezels around the edge and at the top and the bottom, well, they're around 2 millimeters, so they're super thin, and you can see just how much screen you get with this phone. There is a speaker just up here. It's essentially in the bezel, so you'll hardly notice it's there at all. And at the bottom, there's no fingerprint sensor either. This has got a fingerprint sensor inside the display. Let's turn the screen off. Now, we've had mixed experiences with these in-display fingerprint sensors before. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they are not. We're very happy to say this is one of the best. This is clearly a new generation, and it opens the phone from the lock screen incredibly quickly, and best of all, reliably. Really, all we want from a security system is convenience and reliability, and this obviously has both of those whilst keeping your phone very secure. There's also face unlock, so if you decide not to use the fingerprint sensor, you can also unlock the phone using the face unlock system. So it will open the camera and look for you. That's something we didn't see on Vivo's last smartphone with a pop-up camera, the Vivo Nex S. And this time it's extremely effective. It's surprisingly fast. We put it certainly around the same 2-second mark that you might use for any regular face unlock system. So it's quite successful. But because the fingerprint unlock sensor is very good, we don't really feel the need to use it that often. How about the rest of the design? You saw that the 6.4-inch AMOLED screen on the front takes up most of the body. And if we turn it over, you get this beautiful effect. You can probably see on the camera, this has got a visual texture. You can't feel it, this is smooth. But it's very attractive indeed. They're almost like little lines running through it, like a fingerprint almost. Now, Vivo calls this a spectrum ripple, which is a superb name. However, this is a plastic body. It's not glass. Really good impression of glass though, I think you'll agree. But with this wonderful colour and with this spectrum ripple effect underneath, it's really quite a beautiful phone. While we've been staring at the back, you've probably noticed that there are 3 camera lenses on the rear here. This is a big standout selling point for the V15 Pro. This has got the 48 megapixel camera that everybody's talking about. We're seeing it on a wide variety of devices. We're seeing it on the Honor View 20. We're hopeful of seeing it on the Xiaomi Mi 9 and all sorts of other devices over this year. There's a reason it's very, very good. It takes great photographs that you're able to do a lot with due to that high megapixel count. The 48 megapixel lens sits at the top, and it's joined by an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens and a 5 megapixel depth camera for taking those bokeh shots. So this is a surprisingly varied camera. You can take standalone wide angle shots. You can do 48 megapixel pictures, which allow you to deeply zoom in without losing any quality. And you can take aperture shots and bokeh shots using the depth sensor. So there is an awful lot of creative opportunity with the Vivo V15 Pro's camera. We really like that. That selfie camera, well, Vivo has definitely not done anything bad with that. And you can take a look again. That's got 32 megapixels. And the brilliant thing about both of the cameras on here, front and rear, they use artificial intelligence. So there's scene recognition, there's advice on whether you want to change to the wide angle camera. There's a ton of beauty effects that you can use with the selfie cam, and that includes if you're taking body shots, you can slim a person down or change their physical attributes just using artificial intelligence from that camera. Not for everybody, but it's a really interesting new feature. Something else we really love about that pop-up camera, you can adjust the sound that it makes when it comes out of the body. So have a look at this. You go into settings and you go down into the sound menu, which is here, and then you scroll down to look for camera pop-up sound. So you select that and there's three different options: sci-fi, machine and rhythm. We've moved the mic a little bit closer to make sure you get this. So you can have machine, sci-fi or rhythm. So let's choose sci-fi because that's quite cool. And then when we go out of here and we go back into the camera, you can hear this right now. It's so cool. So what else do you get? This is a mid-range smartphone. So inside is a Snapdragon 675 processor. It's not the big flashy new 855 processor. It comes with 8GB of RAM and up to 128GB of storage space. Inside the flashy body is a 3700 mAh battery, but it's charged by a micro USB connector. Popular still in some markets, including China, but not popular elsewhere. And it does rather rob it of certain fast charging techniques. This will charge quickly, sort of, but not in the same way we expect. Vivo says a quarter of power in about 15 minutes. So we can usually do a lot better than that with a USB Type-C connector, which is not, sadly, unfortunately, present here. Having another quick look around the edge, there's a 3.5mm headphone socket at the top, which is great news. There's a selection of buttons on the side, including one on this side for the artificially intelligent assistant. This uses Vivo's own Jovi assistant, should you want to use it. The software on here is perhaps the biggest pain point. It's Android, but it uses Vivo's own FunTouch operating system over the top. It's a little bit different to what we're used to. Notifications look different. There's a pull-up menu at the bottom here, which gives you all your shortcuts that we'd normally expect to find on the notification shade. We're using a gesture control system here, but you can use Android buttons. The gesture control system works in a similar way, but you hold it up and we're going to a different option here, and then you swipe to this side to go back. But this side is always to bring up that unusual quick access pane. So it's fine, but it's not really as good as others. We also don't really like the endless customization of Android. We would prefer it if it was a little bit closer to what we're used to with Android than Vivo's own user interface over the top. However, that aside, it's really rather a nice phone. The camera has been fantastic. We've taken some very good pictures with this. We really love the pop-up camera. It's a great solution to not having a notch. The screen's beautiful. It's a Super AMOLED screen, so there's tons of brightness. There's lots of lovely contrast for when you're watching film. And we like the design. The color's lovely. This is not a thick phone. It's only 8mm or so. It weighs about 185 grams, so it's pocketable. It's nice and holdable. However, you're going to have to import it if you live in the UK or the US. Vivo does not sell its phones that widely internationally yet. This is going to be released in Vivo's most main international markets. So that includes obviously China, it includes India and various others. The price has not been announced whilst we're making this video. However, we don't expect it to be hugely expensive because of the presence of that 675 processor, things like micro USB, which save on costs. The rest of it, surprisingly, is very high tech. That lovely 48 megapixel camera and the incredibly good in-display fingerprint sensor makes a change to say that. The phone will be released in the coming months, and you're going to be able to find out more about the price following its official launch. So check on Digital Trends for all the details about the Vivo V15 Pro.